In the past, when we looked at helping teachers develop their practice, we've often focused on improving teachers' knowledge. And of course, teachers need to know what they're teaching. But what we discovered over recent years is that if you really want to change a teacher's classroom practice, knowledge doesn't help very much. Every teacher I know knows the research on wait time. They know they don't wait long enough at the end of a question to allow a student a chance to answer. But they know this research and they still carry on doing it, which suggests it's not a problem of knowledge, it's a problem of changing habits. And if I could choose one thing that I would emphasize in all professional development, I would say this. We need to start thinking about teacher professional development as a process of habit change, not as a process of knowledge acquisition. Now, there is a huge literature on how to help people change habits, mostly in health education. So we need to learn from that, and we need to build that wisdom that's been gleaned from hundreds of research studies into our design or learning for teachers. But the principal focus is supporting teachers in changing what they do day in, day out in their classrooms, not just teaching them more stuff. Over a research program now lasting over 20 years, we've worked with many different formats of teacher meetings, many different groups of teachers to try to help them change their practice. And some of them involve coaching, but that's very expensive and very vulnerable to shifts in funding. So what we decided was, if this is going to be scalable and sustainable, it has to be teachers doing it for themselves. So we actually hit upon this idea of teacher learning communities, groups of teachers who meet together regularly, ideally once a month, where they make promises to each other about what they're going to try. Over the next month they do it, and then they come back the next month and they're held accountable for making those changes by their colleagues. And it's this idea, you could almost think of it as a Weight Watchers model for professional development. The idea is that teachers constantly make promises and are held accountable. And that's the big idea behind the teacher learning communities model. It actually helps teachers prioritize the change task over all the other things they have to do. So it's about helping teachers change habits in the context of something that is sustainable and also collegial. So the other point about these teacher learning communities, we call them teacher learning communities because the members of this group are teachers. So principals can't be members of these groups because they're not about them. You know, principals always change the dynamic in any meeting. The key thing about these groups is they are teachers meeting together with like-minded professionals. There are no experts in this group. There's nobody telling anybody else what to do. There's just people trying to help others like them do the same things in their classroom that they're trying to do in their own classroom. And over time, we find these groups develop a really strong ethos. They become critical friends. They start actually giving each other a hard time when people aren't being completely honest. We see that trust developing, and we see an extraordinary dynamic. Most of these groups, after 2 years, they actually want to carry on because they say it's the best professional development they've had, because it's about their needs, their priorities, and getting support from their colleagues.